All right, what's going on, everyone? And YouTube, appreciate you giving my video a drop here and tuning in. My name is Brian. My production name, I go by Baugi. I'm 30 years old, living in Bay Area, California. And yeah, this is my very first video. So apologies in advance. We'll work out all the editing, audio, video, and lighting stuff, all that good jazz. But for now, we're just going to try and do our best, and it'll be an interesting and fun adventure nonetheless. For today's video, this is pretty introductory, so it'll be pretty low key and laid back, but really just wanted to cover maybe three areas. One, a little bit of background about me, where I'm coming from, why I ultimately decided to create this YouTube channel in the first place. Two, a little bit more about what I'm working on right now, who I'm collaborating with within the video game indie world. And then three, just kind of what you can expect from this channel moving forward, should you choose to stay along and follow along for the ride. So yeah, a little bit more background about me and who I am. Ultimately why I wanted to create this YouTube channel in the first place. I think that's for maybe a couple reasons. One, I tend to be a pretty quiet, introverted dude. I usually am not super comfortable in front of the camera. And so I thought this would be interesting and fun for me to just push myself a little bit beyond my comfort zone, get in front of the camera, and just document my process as I go through leaving, a career or something like tech sales, doing that for 6.5 years, and doing a complete 180 into a different line of industry, that being the video game world and working on music for that world. So I thought that might be fun. And two, there's a very good chance that no one sees these videos. That's totally fine. But in the event that one of you finds themselves in maybe a similar situation where they're doing something career-wise, they've been doing it for a while, and they just get the sense that it's not what they want to be doing long-term and for the rest of their lives, and maybe they have a artistic outlet that they are passionate about and want to try and pursue and monetize and things like that. Who knows? This might inspire you, or at least might be interested in kind of seeing what that journey ultimately looks like. So that's a little bit in terms of why I wanted to create this YouTube video. And then thirdly, I'll talk about this with my last point a little bit, but going to be posting videos of my process, how I work on music, and ultimately how I work with my team, and who happens to be two of my older brothers, Eric and Andy. So we make up what's called Olive Hill Studios, which is our video game indie studio. So I'll talk a little bit more about that coming up here shortly. Okay, so I thought it'd be fair to answer the clickbait of the video title and why I ultimately decided to quit my corporate tech sales job and pursue music. And so a little bit of background, I've been doing tech sales for about 6.5 years. It's not like I ever had a burning passion to sell software. It was just something that I didn't know what I wanted to do coming out of college, and tech in the Bay Area was pretty popular. My brother was doing it at the time, and so he has suggested I take a look at it, and I said, why the hell not? And definitely learned and a lot of great benefits there, working around really smart, capable people, learning how to work on complicated problems, collaborate, learning how to sell, be persuasive, negotiate, etc. And so job definitely had its benefits and perks. It paid well. Ultimately, it became pretty clear that it was not what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life. I just did not see myself as a account executive for, and surprisingly, I'm surprised I even made it 6.5 years, honestly. Anyways, in about 7-8 years ago, I started to get pretty interested in music and understanding how it was made. Growing up, I grew up with listening to a lot of music, a lot of different genres, and I'm a big movie goer. I absolutely love movies and TV series and uh, ones that have amazing soundtracks and scores and things like that. I tend to gravitate towards. So there's kind of one definitive moment where when I was 18 or 19, there's some pretty big blockbuster movies coming out, like Inception, Interstellar, Mad Max, things like that. And I remember just getting out of Interstellar, watching that in theaters, and my mind was just completely blown. I couldn't understand how beautiful of a movie that was and how amazing the soundtrack score was. If you couldn't tell, I'm a big Hans Zimmer guy. I actually went to his concert live a few months ago with my wife, and it was probably the best experience of my life. Um, so, anyways, I just was fascinated by trying to understand um, why it sounded so good. Why did I have this emotional connection to this music, to this story? Why do I get chills down my spines when I hear this particular piano motif? And so I just could not let it go. And it's almost like all of these why questions started to pop up. And the only way I knew how to maybe try and get some answers is to start creating my own music by my own. And so I did what anyone else might do in that situation and downloaded FL Studio and a digital audio workstation and started to just tinker around and create my own music. Not taking it too seriously, just creating simple beats and things like that. And so, flash forward a couple years ago, like I said, my two older brothers, Eric and Andy, they have an incredible background in uh, learning to code extensively and programming, game development, and animation. And so, growing up with three older brothers, we played a lot of video games, whether that's Super Smash Bros., World of Warcraft, Halo, Call of Duty, like you name it. If there was a video on the shelves, we were getting in there. And so, um, video games was always a huge part of my life growing up. Um, and so we always thought, how cool would it be to create our own video game? And I think for a while, at least for me, it just kind of felt like a moonshot, um, and something not super realistic. But now that we've been a little bit more plugged into the indie video game world, it's feeling a little bit less like a moonshot and something that actually is possible and realistic. And I think that became really clear about 6 to 8 months ago, where we entered a game jam. And the format there is you have a limited time frame, about I think it was 10 days maybe, to create a game. And so that was an amazing experience for us in the sense of we got to really put to the test, what it looks like to create a game, create a theme, a story, character, sound effects, music score, things like that. And so um, we make a good team in the sense that Eric and Andy are primarily spearheading the entire game development, the coding, the programming, the visuals, animation, storyline, big chunk of the pie. And I come in and work on things like sound effects and soundtracks and just kind of overall brainstorming different themes, different things that we want in the particular game. And so we had a good amount of success and feedback from that game jam. Um, there's thousands of submissions, and we placed pretty well. I think we got top 50, and a really great reception, and sounded like people wanted to continue to follow our game. And so for the last 6 months, we've been developing a phase 2 of that game and building out the scale and scope, adding some new boss fights, areas of the map, different mechanics to really try and build on the foundation that we saw success in. And I hope to release that shortly here for y'all to experience and play. And so going back to my second bullet point, that's what I'm doing right now. And so I've completely, I quit my tech sales job in January 1 of this year. It just got to the point where I couldn't do it anymore. It was an absolute grind day in and day out. And so during those 6.5 years, it was really important and intentional for me to be able to save money. So knowing that was going to jump ship off of tech and pursue music full time. And I know early on with music, it's going to be tough to monetize and make an income from. There's going to be a bit of a ramp period where I'm continuing to acquire my skills, acquire knowledge, build out different games, things like that. And so, wanted to have that nest financially to not have to worry about that. So right now, I'm completely done with my kind of full-time corporate job, and now my days are fully devoted towards developing my music theory, working on game soundtracks, working on sound effects, and I consider myself still in the beginner, intermediate phases. I still have so much to learn, but I can assure you that's been an absolute blast, and nothing has felt better than doing something day in and day out that you're ultimately excited and passionate about. And so maybe wrapping up with the third bullet point, because I think this video is going way too long, but what can you expect from this channel if you've made it this far in the video? We're going to be posting a lot of just insights, tips, tricks into what it's like to try and launch a game. So I'm going to be working a lot in this channel with my two older brothers, Eric and Andy. And so we'll be posting a lot of updates in terms of where we're at with our indie game studio, what we're working on, what we're looking to do, what it's like to collaborate as a team. And so anyone who's maybe a music guy looking to plug into the video game world, might be cool to shadow my journey if you're interested in what it's like working on a team. And so also be posting a lot of updates, things maybe I learn as I'm going through my own process and journey, whether that's working on video game soundtracks, orchestral composition, music theory, sound design, things like that. For those of you who are in that world, there is an infinite amount of knowledge and skills that you can continue to develop and build on. So for those of you who made it this far, appreciate it, and welcome to the channel. I'll absolutely keep the videos coming, and feel free to drop a like, drop a comment in terms of, I'd like to hear what is your favorite music or soundtrack, whether that be any genre or any movie soundtrack that you've had, and why is it your favorite? And then two, any content that you want to see moving forward, feel free to drop that as well, and stay tuned for the next video. Take care, y'all.